Let's talk about delegation. As a leader, delegation is going to be one of the most pivotal things for you to do outside of communication. Great delegation requires great communication. But how do we even start with delegating? And I really want to talk to you solopreneurs right now, those of you that are just getting into leadership, that you really haven't actually started delegating tasks. So what's the first thing that we can do if it's a task for us that we need to start offloading? Because as a solopreneur, we are wearing multiple hats. As a beginner leader, we're wearing multiple hats, and we've got a lot of projects now on our plate that we can't do ourselves. And we shouldn't be doing ourselves because we are that leader. We are that owner of the company. So how do we do that? Well, first thing you want to do is write down every single task that you do. Think about your 1 week of things that you do, things that are commonly occurring, and not things such as bathroom breaks or going to get something to eat. Unless if you're really that high level, then maybe you're going to start thinking about the eating portion. Bathroom, you can't delegate that. You just got to do that on your own. But when it comes to eating, maybe you're getting people to bring you food, stuff like that. But we're not that far into this delegation process. You're just trying to get things off your plate. So think about those things that are a daily thing that you do. Email management, calendar management, reaching out to people. Maybe you are having to do social media, creating content. What are those things that you are doing? Think about those daily and weekly tasks that you are constantly doing and write every single one of those down. Now that you've written every single one of those down, the next thing that we want to do is order these from most time consuming to least time consuming. Why we want to do this is because we're going to try and make sure we know how much time we're actually spending on this. And if you don't know, take a step back real quickly and go through your week and track everything that you do. And then you can add in the time there, because maybe you thought, oh, I only spend maybe 2 hours a week on social media, and actually I'm spending 6 hours a week, and maybe that bumped that above something else. But regardless, you can do a time study real quick, but you probably know pretty well what takes you more time than what doesn't. So make sure you're ordering that from most amount of time taken down to least amount of time taken. Now, the third thing we want to do is we want to mark the things with a dollar sign that make us money of all those tasks, and then put a star or an X or whatever you want next to those things that you completely hate. And you may have things that make you money, but you hate, and that's okay. But we want to see what things are actually money-making activities and what things that we hate. And like I said, these may be the same thing. For me, that would be cold calling. Cold calling, while it can make you money, it's something that I don't like. It's something that I don't want to do necessarily. But we're trying to get and figure out what things that we can delegate. So now we've gotten the most to the least amount of time something takes. We now know what makes us money. We now know what we don't like. And so what we can finally do, the fourth thing that we can do here, and this is where we're going to start actually to delegate these tasks, is take a look. What things do you hate that are also the most time consuming? If we can get those two things together, that is what we should delegate first. The last things that you should delegate as a leader, as a solopreneur, or you're just starting to get a team, is money making activities. Those are things that are making you money right now. You want to keep those for now until you can get a salesperson, or until you can get somebody that you trust to actually take care of those things. But the first things we want to do is get rid of the most time consuming and the things that we hate the most. And it might not actually be the same thing. Sometimes the most time consuming things are something maybe we want to keep. And I'm not saying it should be the most time consuming thing that you get rid of. But if you've got, let's say you've got a list of 10 things and everything you hate is at the very bottom of the list, maybe those are things you don't delegate yet. So you're going to have to kind of guess on this a little bit, and you can decide your own way. But I like to get rid of things that are more on the hate to do and very time consuming first. And then if the hate to do things are kind of at the bottom, because maybe it's emails, but it really doesn't take me a lot of time to do emails, I'm going to go for something that is more time consuming for me. Because when we're delegating, we're trying to get rid of things so we can buy back our time. We're essentially buying somebody to be able to do work for us. So we want to make sure we're looking at those things that take the most time. And you can go either way on this. I would try and pair most time consuming and hate it thing together. But you can also just do most time consuming or most hated thing and start to delegate those things. But those are the things that you're going to start delegating. In next week's episode, we're actually going to discuss what it is that you can do and how you can go about delegating. But I wanted to just break this down into one simple episode for you on how can you go about figuring out what things that you need to delegate.